Alright guys, we're going to continue a little bit with our Colt 1911 restoration project. I'm just going to show you some of the things that we're doing to it. And I'll talk about it sometimes, but I don't necessarily show you the tooling required and some of the more detailed work that we're doing here. But just so you know, I talked a little bit about having to stake on some parts that were just laying in position earlier. And what I'm talking about here is our spring tube. I'm going to I'll show you what I had to do anyways with our little staking tool for the for our plunger tube. We hold a block over the top of it. See, this block is shaped just for doing this kind of thing. It's going to cover the side of the tube so you don't crush it. You have a small point here on the one side of our tool that will press into the back side of the plunger. Has a plunger tube that has the post on the back of it, and the staking tool fits into the back of it and squeezes it pretty much just like let's say a hydraulic type of pressure. I'll get it just right. Oh, this is trying to be finicky now. Because actually I've already done this. I just want to give you a little demonstration about what has to be done. Okay, so I get my point into position on, yeah, there it goes, on the back of the post. We gotta kind of hold your mouth just right, stand on one foot, you know, and get it just into place. All right. Anyway, get it lined up like that, and what we're going to do is, before we tighten down on it, we're going to put our we'll say our safety wire. What this amounts to is, this is something that you insert, harden the wire, insert into the sleeve so that you don't crush it when you put a lot of pressure on it. And you see, if you, maybe the camera can see right here, when I put this in, it comes out the other side. That replicates the spring inside the housing so you don't crush it and make it inoperable to start with. And then we'll just take our little handle here, crank down on it and get it good and snug, and we'll do that for both sides, both ends of the the plunger tube, and we've got it snug down already. Okay, so that's one of the things that we did that will be you have to use for such a project as this. And another thing is, I talked about the bushings for the grip screws that had loose and had come out when I pulled the screws out of the grips, and the bushings came out of the frame. Well, to do that, to make them more permanent and being staked in again, we have a staking tool just for that too. So what this is, this staking tool here, you have a little bit of a star-shaped tip on the end of it, and it fits into the back of your grip nuts that fit into the frame. Okay, so the back of it is like that. What you do there without screwing it, obviously. We've got one right here in position, and what we do with that is we put our tool inside, put it on the back edge of the grip nut. And you know what? I forgot oh, here's my block. I need to have my bench block so we can lay our screw, or daggone, our frame into the bench block. And this bench block, you get, again guys, this kind of a specialty here. You see you have a slot cut into the bench block for your plunger tube, and then a pocket right here so that this grip insert will fit into that pocket. It holds it in place. Now we're going to position this tool inside, right onto the top of the edge of it. Then I'll take my punch that will fit inside here, good snug fit, and smack the crap out of it basically with the hammer. We'll get a couple little dimples on it, such that the back of the grip screw bushing is swollen and it'll be staked in. That way it won't turn when you take the grip screw out. All right. But anyway, we're going to continue with that process. I'm not going to bore you with all that, but that's the highlights of what has to happen to make it work. And as we continue with it, I'll show you some more things that we're going to be doing to it. But that gives you an idea of what's going on. Okay, we're back here on our 1911 antique gun kind of thing project. Anyway, we're building this gun, putting it back together for a customer, and I'm going to go through and show you some of the basic things to watch for when we're going to install now our grip bushings. Okay, and what I like to do, just a little footnote here, the bench block I'm using is made for 1911. You can see all the various holes in here. It is made for specific items on your 1911, so when you're pounding on it, you have good support under it. For example, the cutout right here is made so that so this spring tube recesses and sits here. You can have the rest of the gun sitting flush to support it. And along the same lines, we're going to take advantage of the fact that our barrel, or grip bushings rather, will fit into this recess. It's machined so that it fits in there correctly. It will support the shoulder of the bushing, so when we're using our punch to put our crimps on it, that it'll be supported solidly. Okay. So anyway, with that, we'll show you how to do this thing and make it work for you. I'll put just a dab of Loctite. Probably not necessary for this, since we're going to be crimping it anyway. But I guess it's for my own peace of mind about that, I'll do it that way. And we want to make sure when we put these on, it's really super fine threads here. So be real careful about threading it straight, not cross threading. If it threads in like it should be out. It's really easy to screw in. And then when we get it down, we'll make sure we use the correct tip screwdriver blade. And these are hollow ground, which means it's ground so that there is more of a flat surface as you enter the screw head. Make sure you have one that fits in the screw head correctly, that it's not a lot of slop in it. And we're going to turn it in there and give it a good snug little torque down on it. Get it solid. Okay. And now, I'm going to lay that in our bench block on a very solid table. You don't want to have it against carpet, or even this cloth right here would have it some cushion where it will bounce a little bit. It's best to have it on a really solid bench top. And we'll lay this in our recesses so it's supported correctly. I have a 1/8 punch and my staking tool. If you notice, the staking tool here is, you get a close up on this, we see a little star shaped tip on the bit. It is designed so that it will put a slight crease in the back side of your grip bushing and expand it so that it will not come back out when you take the grip screws out. Okay, so we're going to put this in here, and you can't see it inside the frame, I know, but basically what it's doing is going to the back side of your grip screw bushing, and it fits just like this. And when we hit it with our punch, it will, the little star-shaped bit here will put some crimps on the back of our bushing nut, grip bushing, I guess is what it's called, and have it so that it will not come back out. Right. Like you can see here, got it lined up right here. That's my 1/8 punch, and I'm going to smack it pretty good with a little ball peen hammer here. Good hits. And I'm not sure if the camera zoom in. I'm going to do one on the bottom. Maybe you can see it a little bit better with the camera that way. Basically what we're doing is making sure that it crimps open on the back edge and keeps it from backing out of the threads. So I'm going to take just a little dab of Loctite, maybe will help the situation. So we'll put this in. Go ahead and screw that one down. Get it snug. Alright. Okay. And if for some reason you have threads that have been damaged over time and these bushings don't fit tight, if they're stripped, there are oversized bushings you can get, and you would have to re-drill the holes and re-tap them to make the oversized bushings fit. That is an option if you have one that's been damaged in the past. So just so you guys are aware of that, it can be done that way. And that is driving out. You know what? These might have to be oversized bushings. What I'm finding is when I hit it with the punch, it actually drives it out of the threads. Okay, so now we've learned something. That is not good. I look down inside, I'm getting a crimp on the frame and not as much on the bushing because the threads are not holding it good. All right, so what happens here? Yep, that's what it is. I didn't even realize that. In this situation, we're going to have to, I believe, back up and re-drill these to a larger diameter. So even the first one I put in, it's not tight. It's just the attempt to stake our bushings in. It has stripped. Yeah, it's just so thin. The threads on our frame over time have been stripped out, it looks like. So anyways, all right, we're going to back up and punt. I'll show you how to do that too. Basically what we're going to end up doing is using oversized bushings, a slightly larger diameter. We'll go back and re-drill these holes and tap those so the bushings fit correctly. So and I did not know that. So that's a learning already on this older frame. So those threads are not where they should be. They have been damaged over time. All right. Anyway, we'll make it work. Other than that, if we had all those in, all right, then we're going to put our trigger back in the frame from the back and drop it down into our slot here. And just so you know, one of the cool tricks about the magazine release button also holds your trigger in. And on the 1911s, all you have to do is put, and we're not going to take this apart, but I will sometime show you how that works. But I have a really small, thin screwdriver blade, and like a quarter turn, when you push this back in, we'll lock it in place. Basically what I'm looking at is, I don't know if you can see that one, maybe a little close-up camera work here, but this little screw here has a cam on it, and as I push this in, we see it push and turn it quarter turn, and that pops back out. This little cam lobe is what keeps keeps it in the frame. Sorry about that chirp. I've got somebody trying to come in the front door, it sounds like. Anyway, let's put that in. I'll twist it. You have to put your finger on the back side to hold it so it don't push through. Push up a little bit, quarter turn, and now it's set in place. Okay. So there we go. There's our magazine release, and also keeps our trigger from falling out. So anyway, there you go, guys. We'll continue with this. I'll come up with something else in the next little while and give you some more tips about how to rebuild your old 1911. I talked about a few minutes ago about having a hole that was stripped out with our grip bushing. So I said we would put an oversized bushing in it. I've just got now my oversized bushing here, and I have a tap made just for that. And it's what amounts to is this tap is about 19 thousandths of an inch diameter larger than the standard thread would be for a standard bushing. So I took my tap here and put it in my little holder. And this gadget looks pretty well. Actually, I like this thing. If you've got enough space to surface area to make it fit flat, it works really well as far as keeping the tap exactly square with your hole, and keep it straight with your surface. That works really well. You can do it freehand if you're stable enough, and sometimes we have to, but I don't have a choice. But this tool makes it a lot easier as far as keeping it square. Okay. But anyway, we tapped our hole out a little bit larger, so it's 19 thousandths larger hole than it was before, which is 60 thousandths thread, or rather 60 threads per inch rather, on our bushing. So now we've got our holes tapped out good. I've got my new oversized bushing. So now I can take my oversized bushing and screw it into my newly tapped oversized hole here. I'm going to screw that down, get it snug. Yep, so that fits snug like it should do. It's supposed to be there. I'm going to flip it back over and lay it flat on a really solid table here. And we're going to put our tool inside the frame. This is our staking tool made just for the grip bushings. Put it inside here, and the spur part here again, spur is going to hit on the inside of the bushing. Make it real short, it's tight. Yep, it is flat, as far down as it'll go. I'm going to make sure it's always all the way down. And then I've got my 1/8 punch, goes through from the other side. Okay, and it dropped into the place, right into the center of our staking tool. And we're going to draw back and pop it a couple times with a hammer. Alright, get solid hits. Alright, and now our grip bushing is staked in from the inside the way it should be, and it should stay solid now. So that way, now a lot of folks will have trouble over time if you change your grips and take the grips off to clean the gun kind of thing. You'll end up with these, turn them too tight, the grip screws too tight. You'll end up with the bushings coming out. And hopefully if we've got these staked in correctly, that will last a long time now, for a long lifespan with not falling out and not moving on you. All right. So anyway, another issue I've had with this particular frame is that it was a stripped gutted frame, no parts literally in it at all. So we're having to also replace the, our ejector. And to do that, what I found is the hole that is cross drilled here, if I'm going to pointer maybe, you got a hole that's cross drilled that should intersect slightly to the very edge of the post where the ejector fits. And that, when you drill the hole here, when you drive that pin in, it helps lock this in place. Well, that is not exactly where it's supposed to be either. I don't know what's going on with that. This is, Lord knows this gun's, I think it's 100 years old roughly, so we're learning as we go with it too. Some things are not quite right like they should have been. I mean, it could be that the was slightly off here manufacturing. Anyway, we're going to drill this hole out slightly larger, put a larger pin in it, so we can lock our ejector into it, and that'll be our next step. We'll go ahead and pursue that, and be back in a little while. Okay, folks, I've just about to finish details on this 1911 rebuild. Just going to go over quickly some of the things we've done to it, and then we're going to put it all back together and go into the range and make sure it works like it's supposed to. All right. So I remember we put a grip bushing. I had to put one oversized grip bushing in one of the grip screws because it is stripped out. We installed our spring tube here, had it staked in. We had to re-drill a hole, a little bit of a cross hole for the ejector because it was too loose, it wouldn't stay in place. So I've got a larger hole there to help hold that in. We had to do some fitting on the grip safety. It was binding and wouldn't let the gun fire between our mainspring housing and the grip spring, and also a little bit on the end of it where it interferes or interacts, I guess you'd say, with the with the sear. And everything now seems to be where it should be. So I'm going to stick it back on here, and we'll see if it functions like it's supposed to, by golly. Put a couple drops of lube in some key spots there, and we'll get her back together and see what it looks like at the range. We'll be breathing new life new life back into our old 1911 here. Got a good good black coating on it now. If you've seen some of the photographs we were working on it earlier, it was all just raw metal, very rough, which is still rough, but we're able to seal it off with some good black epoxy, the Cerakote kind of product. So anyways, there we go. Okay, now I'll pull my slide back. The hammer cocks with no grip safety pushed. It does not move. I push my manual safety up. All right, I'll close my grip safety. Still does not fire. Push my manual safety down. Grip safety does not work. Now it fires. All right, that's what it's supposed to do. I got it. Now we can have it cocked, safety locked, and you can carry it around all day like that. It won't hurt a thing. So as long as that safety's up, it's not going to fire. So there, if you don't know about that, that's where the term cocked and locked comes from. All right, original 1911 firearm for the U.S. military. All right. Anyway, and I've got a magazine here. We're going to stick a few rounds in this and take her down to the range, give her a whirl, and confirm that it operates like it's supposed to. All right. Okay, here we go. See what happens. First shots from my rebuild. Uh-oh. Well, there you go. Maybe I go back and do a little tweaking on the extractor. Something's not quite like it needs to be, but we're getting close. Anyway, thanks for watching.